Hi friends, welcome back to my channel and let's talk spooky stuff. I feel like we all have the post-October blues, but don't worry. Today we're going to transport back in time and go through everything I watched in October because I watched a lot. And I have to say a lot of it is a thriller, but I did watch a lot. So I have a lot of recommendations, including a lot of TV shows that I want to talk to you about today. How was your October? Let me know down below the best thing you watched during October. I would love to know. And we're going to jump straight into it today. But if you stay till the end, I have an announcement that I'd really like to share with you. So I'll see you at the end, but let's start at the beginning. This is starting off great. So I know I'm a little bit late on uploading this one. It's because I had to rearrange a few things. Then I was sick for a couple of days, but we are here and get ready because it's going to be a long one. I get a lot of questions about what I use to log this. If you don't know already, I use an app called Letterboxd and I always have it linked down below. So let's start at the start. Lamb, I did a review for this one. Oh my gosh, was that a crazy movie? I'm still thinking about it. If you want to see a come with me spoiler-free review, definitely check that out. It's on my channel. The Guilty, which is a remake of a film from, I want to say it's either Belgium or Denmark. It is a film about a cop who gets a call and must disarm. It's kind of like The Call, if you've seen that movie with Halle Berry. It's quite similar to that. I have not seen the original and I do want to see it. I thought this one was pretty like stock standard. It's exactly what you expect. Nothing too groundbreaking here. I do love Jake Gyllenhaal, so sue me. The next one I rated better, which is so funny. Do I have to explain myself here? Probably a little bit. So the Housewife and the Hustler. Stay with me. I have been partial to the odd viewing of the Housewives of Beverly Hills. I am ashamed of myself, I really am. And not that I find anything wrong with watching trash TV, just sometimes this show is just the absolute worst. But I do want to say, before anyone goes like off thinking that this is not about horror, it is. Because did you know that the Housewives of Beverly Hills has Kyle, who Kyle is the original girl in Halloween. And even the new season has a Halloween Kills promo. They literally have a sponsorship by Halloween Kills. So that's me trying to justify my existence. Okay, but I wanted to watch this because if you've watched the new season, you know what's going down with Erica, who is in this storm. Anyway, there was a documentary about her and her husband that people highly recommended, and I checked it out and it's brutal. So if you're into that, watch that. If you know, you know. I'm not going to explain further, but if you know, you know, and watch the documentary. It definitely helps. Okay. Let's go back into There's Someone Inside Your House. This was a Netflix horror movie that a lot of people were talking about in October. A lot of people loved it. I did not. I thought this movie was really poorly put together. And it's one of those kind of like murder mystery slashes, kind of like Scream. Like it really adopts a lot of the premise from Scream, where it's like a whodunit within a teenage, you know, like a high school. And they're all kind of turning on each other, and you know it has to be one of like the main characters or one of the characters that you're introduced to. And I just don't think that the reveal made much sense. I don't think that the film made much sense. I thought the dialogue was off. I thought the characters were off. I didn't bond with any of the characters, or you didn't really get a whole introduction to the characters. And they talk like they're on Dawson's Creek, and I love Dawson's Creek, but this movie was just not for me. That might sound quite harsh, but I felt very strange about that one, to be honest. I watched The Medium, which I did do a review on. Wanted to love this movie, I really did. But I felt like it like had such a big, beautiful setup and then kind of fizzled out. And I go into my reasonings to why I didn't love this film in my review, if you do want to check it out. I watched Insta Psycho. What did I write about this one? Oh, Kim Director made me do it. So if you know Blair Witch Book of Shadows, the goth girl, Kim Director, is the actress. I absolutely love her. She's in this film. I'm gonna admit I did not know she was in this film until I was starting to watch it. If you have watched my channel for a while, you know I'm really not setting myself up good this month, am I? You know I'm into stalker and like obsession movies, and I knew this one was about a girl who gets obsessed with getting what she wants, and she used Instagram to do so. It was on Amazon. It was late at night. I can't be held responsible for these things. Yeah, Would not recommend. I would not recommend. Fear.com. I watched this with a group of friends, my patrons. Was not my pick. Very interesting watch. Not what I thought it was. Very hard to decipher. I believed I had seen this one when it first came out in 2002, but as you can see by my rating, I just do not. Oh my god, look at the ratings for this film, 1.6. Yeah, I would not. If you have fond memories about this movie, do not go back and watch it. It is a very strange movie about like a ghost that uses the internet. I believe that's what it's about. But it's like 6 different plot points wrapped into one, so I'm not going to bother explaining it. I watched The Manor, which is one of the new Welcome to the Blumhouse films. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was anything groundbreaking, but it's still interesting. It's about a woman who goes to live in a retirement home or like a care facility, and then she notices, you know, something or everything is not what it seems. It has some really cool points to it, but I felt it felt very, I don't know, TV movie, I don't want to say, but I do want to say like but I guess like the stylization, because it's not really just budget. You don't really need the budget to make that stylization. Sometimes you do, but I feel like it just wasn't all there to really back up the vision of the film, but it was an interesting premise. Nevertheless, I watched the next one. I'm not going to pronounce because I got in trouble last time from pronouncing this. In Australia, by the way, we don't learn Spanish in schools. We learn Indonesian, so next time you need an Indonesian pronunciation, I'm not going to laugh at you. I'm not going to laugh. And it's about a couple who are pregnant and they move to this small town, and there's just something spooky going on from the get-go. And the woman, she has a really hard time bonding with people and understanding the culture and all aspects of it and who to trust. So in that regard, I found it interesting. Again, another pregnancy film, but this one has a very interesting different development to it, so that's why, yeah, I thought it was all right, but I rated these two the same. I felt like they were kind of on the same level. I watched The Lady in White. I watched this because I did a Halloween recommendations video, and I just wanted to double check that I had all my ducks in the row with what I thought this film was about. Such an interesting film, and I love this artwork. How beautiful. So this is a murder mystery about a boy who encounters a ghost and has to try and figure out who the ghost is and, you know, how the ghost became a ghost. It's like a whodunit in a small town, but it is set during Halloween. The start is during Halloween and in the autumn kind of feels, vibe. So yeah, definitely check that one out if you want to. The next one, I really am sorry that I even logged this. It's so annoying because what's her name? Yeah, Taryn Manning. She's so cool, and why? Like, she has such interesting roles, and I mean, I have to say, this is an interesting role. Don't watch it, guys. Just don't do it. I watched the Karen movie. This is exactly what you think it is. It's about a Karen. It's about a family that move into a predominantly white neighborhood, and they're a black family, and they deal with a Karen on their street, and it's just the most. It's like so overkill, but just the way it's done, I can't explain to you. Like, even the music, it's just everything in this film is off, and it's almost like the movie was made by a Karen. Maybe that's really the premise. It was just horrendous, and I was talking to a couple of my friends on my Discord, which is part of my Patreon. If you do want to know more about my Patreon, it's always linked down below. And I was just kind of having a running feed with my poor friend Ian because he had seen it, just freaking out at every single thing that happened because it was just so, I don't know, cringe. I guess cringe would be the best term, but yeah. There's one scene where this person's like playing a trumpet randomly, and it's just, oh my gosh, don't do it. I mean, do it if you want to, but do it. Okay, Storm of the Century. This is a Stephen King miniseries. I watched this to recommend it for my Halloween video, and this is very interesting. It is a very like low budget kind of cheesy, you know, like 90s, even though it's 1999, seems very much earlier than that, about a storm in a town, and this like stranger comes in and he doesn't tell anyone what he's demanding, but he just starts like wreaking havoc until people give in to his demands, and then finally he admits what he's actually after, and it's chilling. And I would love to see this remade into a film. I think this would be such a cool film. They had a really good cast for this. It's casted really well. Obviously the story's there, but yeah, it's just a little bit cheesy and dated. I would love to see an updated version. And you can watch the whole thing on YouTube. I watched Murder Party. This is a very interesting film. Again, I watched a whole bunch of random things, I swear, this month. And this is about a man who finds an invite on the street to a Halloween party, and he goes there and he realizes that it's not what he thought it was going to be. It's not a good time, especially for him. I'd recommend it. It's like a very low budget indie film, very interesting facts about it. They're like the people who made it, they spent like all this money to put in to make this, like, it's like a no budget film, but they used all of their own funds to make it. They'd never made a film before. And it's shot really well for all amateur filmmakers. So yeah, I thought it was pretty well done for that. Spontaneous is one of my favorite finds from last month. I know people have been saying to me forever to watch this, but oh my gosh, I cried. I bawled my eyes out watching this movie. It is about I'm gonna get off there just in case there's any spoilers. It's about a group of teens like in high school, and one day someone combusts, like literally, and they have to figure out what caused this before it potentially happens again. And then there's like a love story, a hardcore love story like weaved into it. So like it really ups the stakes when you're like getting to know your new like beau in in high school and you're not sure whether you're gonna die. So really heartwarming, very fun and fast paced, and also very bloody. I don't really like putting things into categories, especially horror movies, because I think that any good film is very genre bending, but I thought at points, I'm like, is this considered a horror movie? But it definitely is. There's a lot of blood and guts. It's not something you'd be showing anyone who's not into, disturbing films, I guess. Okay, so this is one of those films and I'm like, why did I watch this? Because it's about pandemic sitch, a little bit different, about a bomb going off in LA, and a man whose wife is in the infected area. They have to like, how do I explain this? They have to tape off their surroundings, and anyone who was outside when this bomb went off possibly has like internal effects, and so they can't come in, they can't risk being infected. So everyone's kind of stuck in their own house and they hear like their loved ones outside. I mean, if that sounds very chilling, but it's quite a slow movie. I really wanted to like this movie, but it had an amazing premise, but it didn't really go too far with it. It could have been a short film. I hate saying that, but it could have been a short film. But very interesting stuff. I watched Witching and Bitching, another film that I wish I had watched so long ago. If you want like the most intense witchy ride that you've ever been on, Witching and Bitching is it. Like, it is the most, oh my God, I can't even explain to it. You need to watch it because it's just twist after twist after turn after turn. It is about thieves who go through this small town and they discover a coven, and it's kind of it for them. There's a lot more to it than that. It's actually a comedy horror, but they tell the folklore of like witches in a very different way, in a more of an authentic way, I guess. But it is still quite funny and like tongue-in-cheek. I watched Tales of Halloween. I watched this with my patrons. This was another pick that they chose. Mike chose this one, I think. Yeah, this is one of those films that, again, it's an anthology, so it's very hit and miss. And I love watching these ones with a group of friends because I go through and like rate each segment, and I really enjoy doing that. But it's one of those ones that you remember, again, anthology, this always happens. You remember one segment and you love it, but does the rest hold up? Maybe not so much. And Tales of Halloween I'll definitely watch again. It will be one of those films that I keep going back for some segments, but not for all segments. So yeah, it's an anthology that is set on Halloween with a lot of Halloween stories. The Trip, I love this film and I want to talk about it in an upcoming video actually, so I might not say too much right now, but really enjoyed this movie, and it's on Netflix. I want to talk about it later. I hate when I do these videos and then I've like saved it for a list I have coming up, but what am I meant to do? I don't want to lie to you guys. It's about a couple that are on like the verge of a breakup, like they just hate each other, and they go on this trip out to this cabin to relax, and then all hell breaks loose. But I'll go into it in more detail. Forget what you heard. We'll talk about it later. Okay, The Whole Truth. I believe I watched this one maybe on Netflix. Again, it's kind of like a middle of the run crime thriller. I watched a lot of crime thrillers. We're gonna get to it. I watched so many movies this month, guys. I have not even scraped the surface of the iceberg. So yeah, this is it, just a like run-of-the-mill thriller. It's about a kid who's on trial for killing his father, but he won't talk, and his lawyer is Keanu Reeves, and he's just trying to get the story out of him, and it's just like putting together the pieces. It's pretty straightforward, and I felt like the ending was very obvious. Yeah, probably give it a miss, I would say. I watched The Card Counter. I thought this film was going to be so good, and I was really bummed out by it. Atmosphere, 10 out of 10. The rest, a little bit creepy. No, I'm not going to lie, and I like creepy, but yeah, I don't know. I wanted to love it. I really did. It's about a card counter who has this like mysterious past, and he meets a young boy who he kind of sees himself in and takes along for the journey. But it's like this, almost like a film noir. I would say like that. Yeah, it's like a film noir, but it's like in color, and it's all shot in these dingy casinos. Yeah, the dialogue is very film noir, the characters, and it's quite surprising like when it goes into his past and what it's about, because I really was not seeing any of that coming. And also very interesting, the camera work, the cinematography. It does this amazing like bubble lens that is just, yeah, fantastic. But I don't know. I would love to hear what other people think about this film if you've seen it. Sorry, we've got a whole heap of like mid-range stuff. I finally watched The Little Things, which is a thriller that came out early in the year. And this one has Jared Leto, Denzel Washington, Rami. It's like a cop who works with an ex-cop who used to work in the station that he is in. And the guy has a chip on his shoulder, and they're trying to find a serial killer. It's very stereotypical. Again, beautiful lighting. Look at that shot. Like, look at that poster. Beautiful lighting. Beautiful style. Not much substance. The Lovebirds. Actually, as much as I thought this film was a little bit cringe, it's kind of cute. If you're into cute cringe, I would recommend this one. This is about a couple that are breaking up when they witness a crime. From there, they kind of go on this whole rampage, which, you know, gets them deeper into the mystery and also puts themselves on the line. Yeah, it's a cute kind of movie, very predictable, but yeah, just a silly, fun watch. Yeah, I probably would recommend this one, to be honest. Even though I only gave it a 2.5, I think it's a good one to watch with a partner, for sure. After this one, The Unusual Suspects. Never thought I'd watch this. I was in Broome during October, and I went to the oldest... It's going to be a long title. The oldest outdoor picture cinema that's still in operation, which is the Sun Pictures. I did this little thing on Instagram for it, and not like sponsored or anything. I just did it because I was there. And there was only one movie that was kind of fitting into our schedule while we were there, and it was this one. It was okay. I gave it a 3, which is not bad. I don't even know how to talk about superhero movies. I feel so awkward. I thought it was okay. I don't know Marvel movies. I really don't understand. There was like a little cute creature that had no face, and that was like a fun time. Moving on. Why does that make me feel so awkward? It's funny. Okay, I watched Side Effects. This is a movie that it's such a good movie, but it's a movie that I keep forgetting I've seen. This is the 3rd time I've seen it, I think. And oh my gosh, such a cool movie. It's better to go on blind to it, to be honest, but it is about a man who's getting out of prison, and he gets to see his wife again, but she's been dealing with side effects from medication. Really chilling, just more of not like a full-on thriller, more of a drama mystery, but it's like very dark. Highly recommend. I watched Free Guy. For some reason, I feel much more comfortable talking about this one, even though it's still action. This is Ryan Reynolds as a guy in a video game. I'm sure you've probably seen it. He is like one of the dudes in the background of a video game, and one day he realizes he kind of gets a self-awareness, and that kind of messes up his brain. It's almost like The Truman Show, you know? The Truman Show in 2021. I watched The Fugitive, which it's Harrison Ford, peak Harrison Ford, trying to escape the law or trying to get justice. It's about a man who was wrongfully accused of murdering his wife, and he's on the run to kind of prove himself. It's a long movie, it goes for like over 2 hours. And it's exactly what you expect, but it was still all right. Sometimes you want that satisfying, like to scratch that itch. I watched Night Teeth, got a little bit back on the horror train. Watched Night Teeth. This is a new one on Netflix about vampires. I'm just going to say it. Usually I'm like, I would not even say the word, but I mean, look at the poster and it's called Night Teeth, which is kind of the reason I wasn't a huge fan of it, because it made it seem like this big mysterious thing that they were talking about vampires when it's very obvious that's what it is, and it took him a while to kind of get into that. So it's about a guy who is the chauffeur for some vampires on their night out. Megan Fox and Sydney Sweeney are in the film, only for a moment though. But yeah, I just thought it was kind of run-of-the-mill. It's like a fast-paced, like fun kind of teen horror, I would say. But probably just not up my alley. There's not really much wrong with it. It's just really not my taste. I watched Just Cause, another crime thriller. As I've said, I was in Broome with my partner. We had like a little holiday and we just watched, like, this is the kind of middle of the road for both of us, crime thrillers. So we watch a lot of them together. It's about a court case where a college professor comes back and they like relive this crime that happened years ago that he was, done for. I wouldn't recommend it. So I'm not too enthusiastic about it. We watched Presumed Innocent, another Harrison Ford one. I promise we'll get back onto the horror soon. This one is a little bit more complicated. It's more of like a romantic love triangle time mystery murder where he is having an affair with a woman who gets murdered. Crime. But just like the other one, he's on a race against time and against everyone else to prove his innocence. Okay, this one's interesting. Money Monster. This one, George Clooney, Julia Roberts. It's about a guy that goes into this very strange show to hold them hostage for something that they've said on the show, financial advice they've given out, and to hold them responsible for what they did to his money. Most of it is shot in one location, which is within the station itself or within the set, and Julia Roberts is the producer, so she's like talking to George Clooney, who is the presenter on stage. It's a very like intense thriller of them going back and forth and trying to de-escalate the situation and get to the root of why this guy is so upset. I thought it was okay. Worth the time if you want like a tense ride. I watched The Invisible Guardian. This is part of a trilogy, which is part of like a book trilogy about this same detective who goes and solves all these different cases. And this is about a teenage girl who's found, and it's linked to murders of women in the same kind of way in the same village. And she has to go around and figure out, who's the murderer. She's a detective. I felt like it was an interesting premise. I love the characters. I love the setting, but it was a very long film. It went for, again, over 2 hours. And for the ending, it just didn't do it for me. I felt like it was a really long ride. But I guess some of these ones that are like transferred from books, there's a reason that they want to keep all those details in them. But yeah, just what didn't work for me. I probably wouldn't watch the others in the trilogy, but please let me know if you have seen the trilogy, if like where that one sits in it for you personally. We watched Trance. This one, I think you should check out. Very interesting stuff. Don't be a hero. I love that tagline. So we got James McAvoy in this one. It is about a man who works at I don't know the actual name, but he works in an art gallery, and he's involved in this heist where people come in to try and steal this painting worth a lot of money. But then somehow in the middle of the heist, the painting disappears. So they enlist the help of this hypnotherapist to try and put them under to figure out what happened. And it is very entertaining. It's like this twisty ass ride, mystery, thriller, drama. It's all over the place. It reminded me a little bit of Vanilla Sky, to be honest. So if you like Vanilla Sky, check it out. Royal Dahl's The Witches. I don't know why this took me so long to watch. I actually really liked this film, but the 2.5 is because the ending was not on. Absolutely not on. If you've seen it, you probably know. Absolutely not on. I know it's different and they're allowed to change things from the original, are they? But yeah, they are. But it just really left it unsatisfied, and yeah, they left an open ending, obviously, for the sake of a sequel, but when that affects the original movie, I just don't like that, and I did not like that about this. I thought Anne Hathaway was amazing. Like, who else? Like, it's so hard to think of anyone being, you know, the royal witch. You know who I thought would be really good in this role? Lady Gaga. I think she would actually be amazing. If you don't know, it's about a boy and his grandma who go to stay at a hotel, and there's a witch convention going on, and the grandma has a lot of knowledge about witches, and yeah, it's amazing. I love the original so much. And I didn't think that this one was such a bad job. I think that they did really good. The imitation of like how hardcore the witches are and how creepy and scary they are was still the same, which I thought they would probably dull it down a little bit because it's meant to be for kids. And I don't know about you guys, but when I watched the original Witches, I was so scared. I was impressed with it. I just absolutely hated the ending. I thought it was atrocious. Like that last half an hour, cut. I watched The Swarm, which I don't want to talk about here because I want to talk about it in a later video. Stop. Yeah, let's talk about it later. I'm going to leave this one. I'm actually not going to talk about it. Okay, I watched Titan. Is that how I say it? This one, have a review on it. I have a Come With Me review where I talk about it spoiler free. We go watch it sitting on the couch, chilling. The more I think about it, the more I like it, to be honest. I think with another rewatch, I might change a lot of the way I saw the film because it is really, you're just taking everything in the first time you watch it. But I do think there's a lot more to be discovered, very layered journey. It's hard to talk about what this film's about. It's about a woman who's in a accident as a child and the repercussions of that. Let's say that. Okay, Dear Evan Hansen. This is the one we've been waiting for. Please, if you've seen this film and you know stage play, whatever, just bear with me because look, I wrote a huge review on this. We'll take that off the screen because it does have spoilers. This film is about a boy who has extreme social anxiety, the film, and depression, and how he gets in this situation after something happens to his classmate, and he really gets himself tangled up in a web of lies about who he is, and yeah, just everything really. So I watched this film. I thought it was a beautiful portrayal. Like it's a little bit like sappy for sure, but it's a beautiful portrayal of mental health and, you know, looking out for each other and everyone going through their own shit. Yeah, sure, it's sappy. It's a musical, by the way, so they're singing. I thought he has a beautiful voice, obviously a little bit older than the character, but used to that in American movies. After I watched it, I spoke to my friend Amara, who explained to me the premise of the film and like the original. So it was like it's a book, then a play, then the film. So this blew my mind. And I'm not going to give away anything while I say this, but I do want to say I do understand why people hate this movie. I could not understand after watching it. I went through really quickly on Letterboxd and saw all of these, like ones and twos and halves, and I was like, what? This movie was not that bad. Sure, it's cheesy, but it's not that bad. And then I realized they completely changed the story. And I can understand that people who are a fan of the original, they would have been blindsided. So in the original, his character is one way, which changes the whole story and like the whole feeling of the movie. I'm trying not to say what it is, but it changes the whole effect of the film. Like it's effectively a completely different story because of different clues they give you about the character. And in the movie, they just take that all away. So very interesting. And I do know that the guy who played him in the movie obviously is from the stage play and they wanted to keep him. And that was the age disparity. But interesting enough, also like the sister, she's his love interest. She's like only a couple of years younger anyway. So, yeah, I liked this movie. And then after learning that, I was like, this is a fraud. And it was very interesting because I've never had that where a bit of information and reading that after the fact made you completely change the way you saw the whole film. Anyway, I thought it blew my mind. So very interesting stuff. And I feel very weird about it. I watched Antlers, which I have reviewed, and I watched Paranormal Activity Next of Kin, which I've reviewed. Sorry, my voice is going a little bit. I watched Who Be Halloween, which is another favorite. It's a favorite of mine. I can't help it. It's fun. It's sweet. The cameos in that film are amazing. Steve Buscemi is just the best in that. I watched Hypnotic, which is a new Netflix horror movie with Kate Siegel. It's about a woman who is trying out some self-improvement, and she goes to work with a hypnotist, but not everything is what it seems. I thought it was quite predictable, pretty straightforward. I think it's just an easy watch if you're looking for something easy on like a Sunday night on Netflix. I don't think there's anything bad. It's just not very original. I watched Idle Hands, which is one of my favorite, I don't know, 90s flicks that it's just off the rails completely. This one, I'm surprised a lot of people haven't seen this one because this was like a staple for me growing up. It's about a 17-year-old boy who wakes up one day and finds that his hand is possessed. And Jessica Alba is in there as like a child. It's very interesting. Seth Green. It's just a comedy, a fun, silly, dirty teen comedy. Horror, which is, it's a laugh. If you're into Halloween films and you have not seen that one, definitely put it on your list for next year or now, who cares? And then I watched May, a film I've seen so many times. I love May. I think May is one of the greatest films of all time. It's so good. If you have not seen it, it's about a disturbed woman who sparks up this romance with this man who says he's into quirky girls, but is he really? That's kind of the premise of it. It's so interesting. It goes back into her trauma of her childhood, and you got some creepy dolls. You got great Anna Faris material. It's just a bizarre but perfectly constructed movie. I really, really enjoy this one. Highly recommend if you haven't seen May. It's just like a cult classic. It really is. Halloween Town. I didn't know how to rate this. I never know how to rate this film. It is a staple for Disney Kids everywhere. About a family that learns that they're part of like this legacy of witches and go to Halloween Town. Do I have to explain Halloween Town now? How funny. I feel more comfortable explaining Halloween Town to you guys than I do talking about any like Marvel superhero movie. One of the last films I watched of the month is The Nightmare Before Christmas. This is one of my favorite films. I see a lot of people say, I've seen online, I guess, a lot of people say that they think that this is overrated. I don't know how. There is nothing like this. It is joy. Every moment of this film is utter joy, and I absolutely love it. I know that it's like very overdone and, you know, so many people are obsessed with it, but I think there's a reason. Like, there's a reason it has such a cult following. And like many of you, I've loved this film my whole life. It really is just perfect, and I like that you can watch it for Christmas and Halloween, so it doubles up. And then I went and saw Nosferatu live. I went and saw this along with an organ player who was, my God, amazing, but he played an improvised live track along to the whole movie. It is a slow movie. I've seen it before, but it was just chilling to see in an actual theater with like this amazing organ and live music along and a crowd. It was beautiful and a really good time. So yeah, very much enjoyed that. That's actually what I did on Halloween night, so that was fun. And that's the last film I watched this month. But it's not over just yet. We have TV shows to talk about. Squid Game. Obviously, I watched this. It feels like so long ago that I watched and finished it. It must have been at the very start of the month. Loved it. Did not like the ending. But I thought it was really interesting and very fun. I've seen a lot of people be quite gatekeeping about this though. I've seen a lot of people talk about, especially with horror, that they've seen so many other horror films and just media in general from South Korea, and that they don't think this is the best thing that South Korea has put out, which I don't understand, because it's not like you would say that about any other country. I just don't feel like you should judge it against anything else that is from South Korea just because they are both from South Korea. I thought it was really interesting, and the funny thing about it is a lot of people who are talking about this who don't like horror or anything like really gory talk about how gory the show is, but I thought it was complete opposite. I thought it was more of a sad and really intense emotional ride, and I was not expecting that. Of course, it is about a man who is really out on his luck, and he gets the chance to join this game where he has to fight for his survival in order to win money. They've just announced season 2, so I'm excited to see where it goes with that. But I guess like a drawback to like a film like The Witches, when it ends with an open ending for another sequel, bothers me, but also just bothered me the ending of Squid Game, because I don't like what they did with some characters and how they tried to like wrap it up and make these reveals, but it didn't actually make much sense. Like there were so many plot holes at the end. Not really plot holes, but it just wouldn't make sense why someone would do that. So anyway, excited to see where it goes from here, and maybe they will explain better some of those questions that we had and some of those things that were really left open, because yeah, didn't make sense to me. But other than that, I did enjoy it, and I do think that everyone should watch it. I watched The Way Down, which is a documentary series, which is unfinished. They have not finished it. It's about the founder of the Way Down workshop, which is considered by some as a cult. It's one of the most disturbing things I've seen. Just heartbreaking. Talks about abuse, trauma, all of these things that happened within her church. If you're thinking about watching it but you're worried that it might be too intense, just don't watch it, because it is very intense. It has child abuse and things like that. Like it talks about everything, and it's just the most insane story I've ever heard. So I will be staying tuned for any updates. Let me know if you know about when the new episodes are coming out, because there's a lot more to the story that has just kind of unraveled as they were wrapping up. So there's a lot more to include in the story. Yeah, I don't want to touch too much because it's religion, but it's just like, it's the most insane documentary I've ever seen. 9 Perfect Strangers, I watched this earlier in the month. This Nicole Kidman, I have to watch it, Nicole Kidman. And Melissa McCarthy is so good at this as well. It is about 9 strangers who go to this kind of retreat, and Nicole Kidman is this amazing just mysterious woman that is there to, apparently she's like the real deal, to heal them of all of their trauma and bring them together, and all of their personalities play off each other. It's a very interesting ride, and you're waiting for like this grand reveal the whole time, and there is a reveal, but it wasn't what I was hoping for. I think that a lot of people are comparing this to The White Lotus, and I really enjoy The White Lotus a little bit more, but this one is a little bit more mystique, mystery, more like fantastical. Not that it's like super fantastical, but it's just more of like a whimsical vibe, where the White Lotus is very like drama, reality, intense, or just strange intense. But at the same time, I binged the whole thing. I thought it, like, all of the characters and all of their acting and casting is amazing. Yeah, I thought it's a good ride, but I was just hoping for something else at the end of it. And of course, I watched the new You season 3, the wildest season yet. I think we can all agree. How much do they pack into that season? I can't even begin to explain. I have done a video talking about You, and like, I read the book, but I also listened to the audiobook, and it's crazy because you can hear them talking in your ears and you feel a little bit nutty afterwards. Yeah, talking about that compared to the TV show, the first season. Second season was pretty good, but yeah, this season is just batshit. It's just absolutely unhinged, and yeah, I really enjoyed every moment of it. I binged it in like 2 days. Again, you're following a stalker who is a killer. It's like if Dexter was in a romance novel gone wrong. We're almost there, but speaking of coming to endings, Wentworth. I watched the last season of Wentworth, season 9, the final end, hurrah. I can't believe they ended it like that. I feel like this whole video I've been talking about how I don't like the endings of stuff, and Wentworth, I'm kind of happy about the ending, but sad. I don't want to say too much, but I was expecting a little bit more of this like epic, like they really drum it up. So if you don't know what Wentworth is, it's an Australian TV show that is kind of like the Orange is the New Black, but it's the original. So there was this show back in the 70s called Prisoner on Cell Block H, and Wentworth is the like redone version of that, like the reboot. So it's about a female prison, and they got to season 9, and yeah, I mean, it's emotional. It's hard to watch the end season when you know it's the end of something you've loved for so long as well. Sometimes, like 6 Feet Under, there's a really good ending to a show, but sometimes it's hard. You can't wrap that stuff up easily and make everyone satisfied. So I do understand that after 9 seasons, it's a little bit hard to do. But I watched it, and yeah, if you want to watch it, it's all out now, so you can binge it right away. I'm still watching The Circle, the US version. I'm just on the last episode, and also Only Murders in the Building. I'm on the last couple episodes of that. That's taken me way too long to watch. Can't wait to finish it. But that's all of the TV I watched. Yay! We got through it. thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any recommendations for me of what to watch in November. But before we go, I just want to give a quick announcement. On Saturday, the 13th of November at 10:20 Australian Western Standard Time, I'll leave a link below, I am going to be abseiling off a building, off one of the tallest buildings in my city. And I'm doing this to raise money for Guide Dogs WA. If you don't know about Guide Dogs provide life-changing companions for the vision impaired, but also autism assistance dogs. I am going to be doing this to raise money for them. I am terrified when I tell you this is the building. I'm absolutely terrified. But the plan is that my partner is going to live stream me going down from the ground. I can't take anything down with me, unfortunately. But yeah, I'll be doing it live streamed on Instagram. So that's why I wanted to give you the time if you'd like to go head over. And also if you'd like to donate, no matter how small, every dollar counts. It costs over $50,000 in training for one guide dog. So as I said, every dollar does count. So I'll leave that link down below. So if you'd like to be a part of that, I'd really appreciate your support. And if you'd like to just watch, you're more than welcome to just watch. But yeah, just follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Spookyastronauts, and just make sure you have your alarm set, and he'll be going live around the time I'm going down. I'm so scared. But of course, if it wasn't scary, there would be no reason you'd be sponsoring me to do it. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I'll talk to you all very soon. Stay safe and stay spooky. Bye, friends.